It was late in the evening when Thomas first felt the chill. He had just moved into the old house on the edge of town, one that had stood for centuries, and its walls whispered with the stories of the past. On his first night, after unpacking his belongings, he sat by the fire with a cup of tea, trying to shake the feelings that something was watching him. As the flames crackled, he heard a soft voice, almost a murmur, coming from the shadows near the staircase. "Hello," Thomas called, but the voice faded away as quick as it had appeared. He was certain he'd imagined it, yet the air around him felt heavier. It was almost as though something or someone was waiting. The next few nights, the whispers grew clearer, more persistent. They didn't sound like anything Thomas had ever heard before. Voices from another time, distant and melancholic. One evening, unable to ignore it any longer, he stood in the hallway and spoke out. "Who's there?" he said. To his shock, the response came almost immediately. A soft, sound voice replied, "I am here, Thomas." Thomas froze. The voice was familiar in some strange way, but he couldn't place it. He followed the voice down the hallway to a room at the end, the one that hadn't been used in years. The door creaked open, revealing a dusty room. In the center stood a figure, translucent, almost glowing in the dim light. The ghost was a woman, pale, with hollow eyes, her long dark hair flowing like a shadow around her. She looked at Thomas with an expression of sorrow and longing. "I didn't mean to frighten you," she said. "I've been here a long time waiting." "Waiting for what?" Thomas asked, his voice trembling. "For someone to listen," she replied. "I am bound here by a promise, one that was broken long ago." Thomas took a step closer. "What promise?" The ghost sighed, a sound like wind through autumn leaves. "I was once the mistress of this house, long before you. My name was Eleanor. My love was taken from me, and I was left to roam these halls, seeking peace that never came. I thought I could find it, but only if someone knew my story." Thomas felt a deep sympathy for her. "What happened to your love?" Eleanor's eyes filled with sadness. "He was taken by betrayal, a lie that destroyed everything, and so I linger here, waiting for someone to understand, someone to remember my name." The room grew colder as she spoke, her voice barely audible now. Thomas felt a chill run through him, but something in him also stirred a need to help this lost soul. "Tell me everything," he said, his voice firm. And so, Eleanor shared her story of love, betrayal, and the promise that had bound her spirit to the house. With each word, Thomas felt a sense of responsibility growing within him, as if he were the one who could set her free. "I have heard your story, Eleanor," he said when she had finished. "I believe you." The air around them shifted. The weight that had pressed on Thomas' chest since moving into the house seemed to lift, and the room felt warmer. Eleanor looked at him with gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have given me peace. With that, she began to fade, her form dissolving into the air like mist in the morning light. As she vanished, Thomas felt a final, soft breath on his cheek, a thank you, a goodbye. From the night on, the house was silent, the whispers were gone, and the heavy presence that had once lingered was no more. Thomas felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that he had helped Eleanor find the peace she had been seeking for so long. And in the quiet of that old house, he often thought he could still hear the faintest echoes of her voice, crying through the walls, no longer filled with sorrow, but with gratitude.